Alright guys, welcome back here. We are actually up in northern PA again doing our scouting for rifle season. My dad, my younger brother, my older brother, and my cousin are all here. Right now we're actually scouting out this one swamp and we found this pretty good rub right here. There's another rub, just a couple trees up ahead. And my dad said there's a few more right back this trail here. It's not very heavily traveled, but it's obviously a rub line and it leads to a few more scrapes. That's so far what we found. It's not looking great, but it's looking okay. All right, right now we have a little bit of time left and we're gonna check out the spot my dad hunted last year, and he had an opportunity at a shooter buck spooked off before it stepped out. We're gonna go up in here, check that out, see if it's any potential for this year too, and he might sit up in there.
Let's walk parallel this way and see if we see trails that might entice me to put a stand up here instead.
Okay.
Let's spread out just a little bit. Can you do that?
Ooh. Alright, for my dad's spot, it's pretty good up in there. It definitely looks like the deer are in there. There's a few scrapes, a few buck rubs leading into that area, but it's pretty much this swamp bushes and these lower grass plains these deer like to travel through, and it pretty much goes up there towards him up that way. Actually, he had several buck come through there last year. Only one of them he could shoot though, but he's potentially thinking about putting in a spot somewhere down in this section more rather than up on that hill up that way. This right here is my dad's stand. That's the tree he sat in last year, and right there, buck rub from this year, different one. So a lot of deer kind of funnel in here, all in through here. Yep, so we're gonna mark his spot out. He's gonna bring his climber stand in tomorrow, but he also might decide to walk in with it.
What are you doing?
I'm filming.
Why did you back up?
I don't understand why Wyatt's doing that. He's gonna drive us back to our truck?
Definitely. He's anxious.
He's gonna drive us back to our truck, apparently. There's a tack. Alright, we're pretty much out of here. What were you doing parked at the other spot?
Just closer to some other stands.
Did you find something? Alright, this is day 2 of scouting / putting out our stands. We are taking a hike back to a place we have had pretty good success multiple years in a row, and checking out a few places we have seen deer many times. I got another.
You can clearly tell that it's a thing that they do. So a few years ago, actually 2 years in a row, last year when I was hunting, James and I actually saw a doe run across right down here, right at the same exact spot as about 3 years or 4 years ago that I ended up missing a small buck, and it was my fault. Maybe it was just too far away or whatever, but the small buck and the same doe was right in that grass patch down there. There's usually all kinds of deer right there, and you have to kind of maybe if you can't see quite as far in rifle season, just go ahead and throw your scope up or something. There's always deer just moving through there. There's a really nice swamp that way, and I don't know what's over on that side, maybe another swamp, but they just go inside across the trail. So as you're walking the trail, you always want to look, set up a camera or something, or throw up your scope and check it out.
Mm-hmm. We're checking out a place that we've had pretty good success of seeing deer several years in a row, and this will be a spot for either Logan or I, kind of when the time comes. We just kind of pick. We don't really care who goes in which I want to get a nice buck or good doe. Alright, right now we're headed into a spot on the edge of this swamp. Another pretty much travel route, or it was past years. Wyatt and my cousin David basically across the road. It comes back here. You're not allowed to drive on that road, so you have to walk in. But they're pretty much right across that from us, looking for a stand for either one of them.
Rather than coming to
Last year, Logan was set up in one of those hemlocks right over there. And he had a group of deer come right through here, go right through here, and worked their way towards his stand, towards his tree, and then went up the hill. Now there's pretty good trails all through this stuff in here, but we want to see where those deer were headed, because every time he saw a deer, they were up on that ridge, or they went up to that ridge, and we want to know where they're going, and kind of want to probably get closer to that. Deer came across. You saw it came back there, and then went up here, up and over this hill, towards another swamp, maybe towards that other swamp, but in that direction. Another swamp farther up this way. There were deer feeding. You could see scraping up the ground, dirt on top of leaves, hoof prints. Not a buck scrape, because the branches and stuff weren't broken and bitten at, but just scraping for food. Haven't seen any buck rub, so we'll continue looking. Here we got a buck rub. That's good. Not a huge tree, but pretty fresh. Didn't see any more down there. I'm not sure which way the rub line would have gone. About the fourth rub in the line. There's kind of good rub line that comes up this valley where the creek runs right over there. Definitely working their way up or down this stuff. And over here, it's a little trail here, but over here there's a scraping for food. There's tons of this messed up leaves in through here. Yeah, look at this. Yeah.
I almost feel like one laid down right there.
This is lots of deer feeding, which is really good. That I really like that.
I like to see they're browsing slowly through here.
I like to see browse.
You can see them.
Browsing. There's deer poopage.
Turned up very recently.
Deer poop over there, feeding. Yeah, there's deer poop over here too.
You got deer scraping the ground for food here. There's a lot of activity over here.
And rubs back down that way. You know what I mean?
It was concentrated more.
Yeah.
It was more concentrated back there.
Yeah.
They
Good
could
scrape.
easily split right
From this year. And this tiny little tree right here got a little bit of action as well. Logan is going to get up in that tree and put a spot somewhere kind of in the middle, and going to overlook this whole section through here. Alright, we decided against that tree because you still can't see, there's not a good view of where we're seeing a lot of the concentrated sign. So we decided we're gonna go back down the valley a little bit towards the more concentrated sign, see what that looks like, see if we can find somewhere up in there to sit. Look at that.
It's the whole way around it.
This
Up
tree
into
right here, there's claw marks. This is from a black bear.
See the claw mark?
And there was a little bits of hair we found too.
He found a piece of hair of there.
There's claw marks that go the whole way around this tree. It's the second one we've actually found. Second hemlock in the area
And we found both yet. They're around here.
that has been used.
Right here, it's clearly, you can see the bark.
Yeah.
This is what I